Boss, obviously you're a legend of mixed martial arts, one of our great Dutch strikers. So tell me a little bit about your 8 week fighting machine workout that you're selling. It's $99, I believe.
Yes. So 25 years ago, I started making these warm-up tapes because I did shadow boxing, but I go like, what if tell myself what combinations to throw? Because then I have to pay attention and I got to do certain. And then if I start adding sprawls into it and knees to it, hey, I can actually make this a nice little warm-up. But then every fighter who came to train with me, Marco Huas, Pedro Hizo, Mark Kerr, I mean, everybody starts asking for copies. But I was just done on a tape deck. You hear my baby cry in the background at one time. So, but everybody loved it. Then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna put it for sale. So I start after my career, start making them, and then everybody starts using. I always say this. Even Conor McGregor posted about it one time on his Instagram page. So that is 25 years ago, and everybody loved that workout. Well, that workout has about 15, 16 combinations. This has about 100 more combinations. This got everything, reloads, it's got double punches, there's 12 punch combinations. I mean, but of course I set it up every time. Every time I add a punch, and the mind-body connection is going to be so off the chart. And not only that, it's the other workout was 4 workouts. These are 32 new audio workouts, and it's going to be over an 8 week course. And if you're a beginner, if you don't want to go to a gym yet, you want to get in shape first, you want to learn how to punch and kick a little bit, get the course. But what I would do if I were you, though, I would do week 1 twice, week 2 twice, do it week 3 or 4, because those are all the basics. This is about, I explain to you how to stand and how to move and where your power comes from and the stretches. We got stretches routines in there. We got the warm-up routines in there. We have a cable machine routine that will dramatically improve your punching power, your core strength, and your kicking power actually as well. So everything is in that course, but for new people who want to go to a gym but first learn a little bit about it, this will be perfect, but I would repeat the first few weeks. We all believe that the basics are the easiest, the basics are the worst. If I'm after God knows what, 20, I'm 60 years old, so that's almost after 40 years. If I'm shadow boxing, it's the only thing I pay attention to. My movement, having my feet on the ground at the moment of impact with the punch, like all these things I'm constantly focusing on. If I still have to focus on that after 40 years and it's not natural there, because I want to make it natural, then maybe you should pay attention to, if I post a video about footwork, I get 10,000 people. If I post a video with a liver shot combination, 500,000. I mean, I go, it should be the other way around, I would say focus on the footwork because I'm looking at fighters, professional fighters, whose footwork is simply not good. And if you have a good opponent, he'll know exactly what to exploit that. You have to watch out for these things. So that's what I want for the people. I want them to take it easy and then to go. But I'm telling you, pros are going to go like, dude, this is the craziest thing. Dude, I'm doing it here in my man cave. I'm doing it in a hotel room. I've been doing it for the last 25 years. I always bring it with me. It's on my phone. I would just have to play it. And then I do the audio workout. Only this workout, oh, you're going to have to pay attention. Like if you have ADHD or ADD, I always tell people fighting and sparring are the two most peaceful times in my life. And they go like, whoa, that is weird. It's not weird because you're so focused and logged in. There is no room for that outside noise that you normally have. You gotta have focus. So it becomes very peaceful. Because while I'm doing this interview, I'm already thinking about 3 other things, that I have constantly wiping away. Because that's how my mind works. It's just weird. You don't have that once you focus on fighting. And the mind body connection is going to be so off the chart that once you do this workout, these are 5 round workouts. Well, you can double them up because the combinations you're not going to get them. I don't even get them till every single combination because they're out of control. But because you have to focus the whole time on the next combination, it's a perfect way to stop the noise from the outside as well.
Yeah, I love this because even if you don't have desires to fight professionally, learning martial arts is all about self-improvement, and you can get so much out of it, better shape, better connection with your body and mind. So there's so much appeal here, even if you're never wanting to step in a cage.
But the thing is, you can make it as hard as you want. If you decide to go four, boom, 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 and you throw the punches like that, yeah. Or you can do it like I showed in the promo. Well, the first week, four, one, two, three, four. I drill in the combinations. Then you see week eight, yeah, that's a whole different animal. And people go like, oh, that work. I listen to the combinations I shout and then I throw. Who throws a left, right uppercut and a body shot? Nobody does that. What does that mean? Well, if you're not used to somebody throwing that combination at you, chances are he's going to nail you with it because you've never seen it. And if you've never seen it, you don't know the defense yet. And double right uppercut, lead hook, double right uppercut, rear uppercut, elbow. I mean, the things that I'm throwing, the combinations are going to be freaking off the chart. That's like I said. I mean, it's a forward liver shot, hook cross. That's 8 punch combinations. They go out there with reloads, different targets, different angle punches. Instead of uppercuts, you throw a body shot. It's Mike Tyson. I just looked at two fighters that really inspired me. And in boxing, there was Mike Tyson, of course. And then in Thai boxing, it was Robin Dekkers. And Robin Dekkers was actually cold. When I showed Mike the highlight reel from Robin Dekkers, he was standing. He got up because, like, dude, I say, they call him the Mike Tyson of Thai boxing, Mike. I mean, this guy's insane. He got so much power, but what they do is that overcommitment with their upper body rotation. And every reload that they do a lot of right, right, left, left. And if you change the punch of it, like Mike, knocked out 7 guys with a hook to the body, and then he loads it up exactly the same. You think it's another body shot, and he switches into an uppercut. You see now combinations like that, of course. I everything that I see is effective. I simply take, and then I start working on it. Sometimes I add some things. Sometimes I twitch it a little bit. Sometimes it just stays the same, and that added to my repertoire. Just steal. That's what everybody does, right? Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, well, where do you think they got it from? They just came up with it? Of course not. They see from other people. This is how we learn to speak. This is how we learn everything in life. It's pretty much stealing from what you see or what you experience. So I pick the things out that really work for me. And then I start focusing on how can I make it better. Well, if I bring my whole demeanor down, if I stand up straight, I throw a body shot and then an uppercut, can be effective. But if all my demeanor is down and I keep looking at the body, and now when I look up at the body, the uppercut comes while I'm still leaning over. Whoa! Now the whole movement is for another body shot. Then you get effective with it. You see, so sometimes I always say in fighting, you have to give up certain technique. If I give you a big long left hook, I don't do that because it's bad technique. I do that for a reason. I want you to block this big left hook. Otherwise, I throw it fast, you're not maybe not able to block it. But if I make it big and theatrical, now you're going to block it. There's my cross to the body, because it sets you up. And if you start playing the game like that, for instance, I have a workout. This is a 1 week workout, so there's 2 workouts, four, I believe, just 4 workouts a week, in where I give you combinations to set somebody up. So, for instance, I give you 3 hooks to the hat. I'm just giving an example, and then I connect. I ad lib a little bit. I go door in the workout. We're going to do it one after another, but I explain how it works. But then but since I connected with these 3 hooks, he's kind of afraid from it. Then right away I do it again. Bam, bam, bam. And if they connect the second time, now you set the guy up. And now you ad lib again, you play around, and then suddenly there are the 3 hooks again. Now he's going to be ready for the 3 hooks. Defense goes up, and that's where I'm going to add a liver shot. You see, so I set you up, and suddenly I do the same combination, but I add a punch. And most of the time, that add on punch, that's the one that's going to knock him out. And people always say, like, oh, a knockout will come and go. Well, a lot of people that I knocked out were combinations that I trained in the 8 weeks before. It's all about how to do it and how to deliver it. And sometimes you have to do stupid stuff like lowering yourself in a punch, which makes no sense, but it's just to get inside his head. Because once he starts connecting a body shot with me moving down, after 4 times doing that, I don't even have to punch anymore. If I do this, he thinks it's the same punch. And now I set you up with the cross. You see, so those things are going to come back in this workout as well. How to set the people up. And it's going to be spent a lot of time on.
I love that. And you making the punching noises reminded me of your legendary self-defense video,
Yeah.
which is actually kind of you just assaulting people in like a bar. It's an incredible video.
Right.
One of my favorite things on the internet. How is it seeing it go viral years later and become this like weird addition to your legacy because that's gone out like outside just MMA fans.
Dude, it's the most insane thing. I think I had 90%, at least 90% of my jobs came from that clip. I mean, Grand Theft Auto. I got my own TV show in the game, Grand Theft Auto 4. All the fight choreography, all the fighting that you see, that's me also. We did also the motion cap, you know, and that came from the clip. I was the fitness guru for Cartoon Network. Came from that clip. Commercials. I mean, the things that I did. I sent that guy who made this video. I sent him an email. I go like, dude, because I was selling a lot of gear at the time. I said, go on my website. Obviously, you're a fan, right? Pick anything you want, and I sent it to you. I said, but you gave me so much work, but he never reacted. You know, I tried a few times. Maybe he got his email cut off or so. I don't know what it is. But I mean, yeah, thank you. If that guy's listening, I really appreciate it because that's when I got a glimpse from the crazy Bas Rutten, and apparently they like it. So that's a good thing. My mom thought I was crazy. My wife thinks I'm crazy. But thankfully, some people here say, hey, that's kind of funny. I always think I'm funny, but my wife doesn't think I'm funny.
I think you're hilarious for sure. And you were great in the Smashing Machine with Dwayne Johnson and Benny Safdie directed that. How was it seeing them recreate those Pride events in the backstage? Like, how is it? Because you really can feel that atmosphere. Like that had to be a real trip for you.
It was, and I'll tell you why it was, and I think you felt that also, and that's why it felt like that in general. Everything was Japanese. I mean, the little carts were driving around with sodas. They were driving around in Japanese carts, and they're driving around Japanese sodas. Nobody drank the freaking things, but they're there, and everything behind stage was from Saitama Super Arena. The cameras they were using were the cameras they were using at the Saitama Super Arena. And then you have to understand this. This is how crazy freaking Benny is. You know, so invested. The cameras that they used inside were for the big screens only. But the ones that they projected to home with were different cameras. So let's get those cameras. The lights that you saw, these were the Tokyo Dome lights. He brought them over from freaking Japan and he put the Tokyo Dome lights in there. So when you walk backwards, you saw body sweat. Body sweat. It's a water, and you know, and what is it called? I think it's called body sweat. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a disgusting name, but you know, like everybody in Japan drinks that water. It's a kind of a Gatorade like drink, you know. But everything, you know, you go like, dude, we're in Japan, but that gave you that feeling as well, and the whole atmosphere was like that. And then having DJ and everybody being just, especially DJ, he was so pure, it was so eerie. The way he was speaking suddenly, and when he met me, I remember I tell this in an interview. The first time I met him, he grabs me and he gives me a big kiss on my head, and I go, okay, and right away I go, that was Kerr. Kerr always did it if he hadn't seen me for 2 months. Pasito, you know, and then he would kiss me on my head. I go, he got in character right away, and then he started speaking like him. Yeah, it was really cool to see that.
I thought everyone did a really good job. Like Ryan Bader was
Freaking
incredible
awesome, right?
as Coleman. That was crazy. But you
Yeah.
played yourself because nobody else can be El Guapa, you know?
Yeah.
Um, how was that experience? Like we don't see that very often. I like Muhammad Ali did a movie where his own biopic, like back in the day where he played himself, but that's so rare. Like, did you have to like try to play younger or like how how is that situation?
Yeah, just a little bit more crazy. But you know, thankfully the scenes didn't ask for it. It's not like if we would have shown party scenes, yeah, I would have gone a little different level because I was a crazy guy at the time. But you know, in training, it was always that's why they wanted to come. It was always fun. You'll see that actually in the movie. You know, when he walks in, of when I come walking in my gym, it's suddenly it gets a little bit of a happy feeling to it. You know, hey, what's up? And now things start because I always like to do teaching, whatever I do with comedy, with attaching little funny stories to certain techniques, you know, and I don't do that because I like to tell stories, which, you know, I enjoy it, but I do it because people gonna go, what's the technique again? He says, oh, you remember Bas when you told the story about the crazy guy? You see, that's what he used to do. So they remember it easier if I attach a story to it, to like a big move or something. And that's why comedy always works. I think too serious never works. It's the same in my dressing room. If I'm in the dressing room before the fight, you're not allowed. There's only can be comedy, and we can only laugh. Nobody's going to tell me you're going to rip his head off. Guys, get out. My last fight, a friend of mine wanted to take me to the side. He says, "Boss, can I talk to you?" But he never coached me before, but he was my nutritionist. He says, "I want to talk to you outside." I go, "Okay." I walk outside. And he goes, "Listen, man, this guy tries to take food from your table." I go, "Oh, stop right there." I say, "I don't need this talk." He go, "What do you mean?" I go, "I don't want to get angry. I'm good." Okay. So, and then I went inside again. I just think that if you're relaxed, the muscle, the mind body connection works the best. And you're the most explosive, Once you start tensing up, that's the moment, when people expect something, they're going to be on their toes. But if you're from zero, whoop, and suddenly you explode, that's when you're going to be effective. So yeah, calmness is big in my camp.
That makes total sense. And one of my favorite moments of the film, and this just shows what a geek I am, but I loved seeing you and Stephen Quadras together again. You two were like the voice of a generation for so many MMA fans. How is it reuniting with your former Pride commentator?
It's always good with the fight professor, man. He's a good guy. The freaking guy doesn't age, right? I mean, he's getting up there now, and he's still doing good, still cracking jokes, still doing everything, still super smart. Like the professor, So yeah, it's always good to see him, and I'm happy that I met his wife now also because we haven't been seeing each other for quite some time. I moved to Texas as well, and he's still in California. So yeah, always good to connect with that guy, man. Boy, did we have a lot of fun doing those crazy shows. And that was Pride. They just let us free, And then because he always had to be a little bit more serious guy, but then he would still, crack some jokes into it because normally he's a freaking jokester, man, the whole time. But then it would have way more effect if he suddenly would say something because he doesn't do it all the time. Like me, I just start singing or whatever I do, whatever I feel like, I kind of do. And I think that was the reason people kind of liked it because they would know it was real. It wasn't, not doing it all, hear me sing or something. It was just it pops up in my head or him pops up and we just did it. So it was like you were sitting at home watching it with a bunch of guys and we're just having fun. Man, good times, man. Yeah, those times and fighting. I talked to Frank Shamrock a while back. I go, "Man, don't you miss it?" He goes, "Yeah, that was the best time, right? Just fighting. And we didn't have the social media, all that stuff. We just came there, hang out all together, go to places, and then we fight each other. And then we go out, party. And then the next month, probably the same thing again. So, yeah, that was a good time.
I love that story. That's a fantastic one. And when I really became like a hardcore MMA fan, I think a lot of that was thanks to Inside MMA, the show you used to do, because that really got me thinking more about the majors and making me discover all these other promotions because you guys really documented the regional scene at the time and you would see these people coming up and that was so interesting. um, and today we don't have as much of a vibrant regional scene. Like we have like LFA and some other promotions that are still doing good work, but there's just not as many, and people don't stay at that level long enough to really be impactful. Like, do you feel like that takes away from the sport? Because I used to have so much fun watching these people develop, and then when they would come to a major organization like a Ryzen or a UFC, it was a big deal.
Yeah, no, I miss that too. But it's oversaturation of the fights, right? It's like the UFC is also, if you put on 47 shows, whatever, that's almost every week, and it's logic. It's a company, If they give like I'm not able to watch every fight. I can't. It's way too busy. So for me to go to another show, you see what I mean? It's just a hard thing to do. So it's business wise, it's super smart. But for the fans, there's only so many hours in the day that you can watch, and it is cool to see a fighter come up, And thankfully, we have to like the Ultimate Fighter, we see things like that. But to have it from other organizations, that would be cool too. Because most of the time, like Dakota, the chair fighter right now, the girl that fights. I love to see her in the UFC. I mean, what an animal, man. I mean, but the way she knees and throw body shots, I mean, her liver shots, I mean, that's insane. And the way she throws knee, a lot of people don't do it like that. This is literally what I tell my students. I go, look at that. That's how you do it. If you throw a knee, why would you throw with power? Why would you throw it like you do against your sparring partner in training? It's not going to work. These little tappy knees, just freaking knee somebody, and that's what I like about her. So I hope that we are going to see her in the UFC or a big event somewhere, because yeah, she's got the whole cruise. I think she can pull a lot of people to MMA as well.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. And my last question for you, boss. You're still very connected through fighting with Karate Combat, and that's been so fun seeing that organization grow. It was so loud seeing Sam Alvey knocking out Tyrone Spong. I would have never
Great.
guessed that. Like those fights are crazy now. What's been most rewarding about being a part of Karate Combat and seeing, martial arts continue to grow even outside MMA?
Well, I think it's super good. A friend of mine, the former owner from the International Fight League, remember that show? That was a nice show as well. He told me like 10 years ago, he says, dude, we should come up with a striking style in where takedowns are allowed and ground and pound only. You cannot clinch. I go, that's a really good idea. And boom, suddenly karate, who knew karate had that already with takedowns, right? I mean, a lot of people didn't know, and karate combat is there. And then they put it in the pit, and then with the CGI and all the stuff that they have behind it, and then these crazy characters, and then you saw from the beginning, I mean, it was 7 years with these guys. In the beginning, you saw these point karate guys, they punch and they stop, and then the other one just kept going. You go, oh shit, I got to make combinations. They started cross training, and then these guys started becoming really good. Then we see Agaev, the goat of karate, beating Raymond Daniels. How is that even possible? If I had to bet my house, I was going to be on Raymond. But there you see, because it's a different style. They never dealt with that. Now, I always say this because I know Raymond is like a, like, and I mean this in a good way. He puts all the information in there. Now let's fight again. I would love to see a rematch between the both of them, because I think Raymond is that guy who fights answers, and they're going to be good. But still, the fact that he did that at that moment was like, whoa, whoa, that's a karate guy who fought two full contact fights in his life, and he's just been a really great striker. You see, so that started putting karate combat on the map. And now you see these guys making backflips on the freaking rope. We inspire freaking the jiu-jitsu. They're doing it now in a pit, kind of, because they weren't bouncing out anymore. The Abu Dhabi Combat Club, they literally licensed our pit for the first time, and I think they started something else themselves right now. But you see, it's cool when you do something, you inspire other people, and then other people start doing the same thing. So, yeah, I think the fighting style is just what attracts people, because unfortunately, till this day, a lot of people don't get what's going on the ground, you know. And kickboxing, okay, because I thought kickboxing would be much bigger. But if you combine kickboxing with takedowns and ground and pound and no grappling whatsoever, boom, now we got karate combat suddenly, and that's an exciting sport.